Hello guys and welcome to another video by League Unleashed. So today in this video we're going to talk about Season 11, how it's going to be. Is Season 11 going to be the best season that League of Legends have ever had, or is it going to be the worst? So you can see like the following narrative with all the new coming champions, how they are always broken in the beginning. Well, Seraphine is also going to be released at some point soon in Season 11, so probably this is going to take a slight impact on the state of the game. Maybe it's going to be like, as always, broken, or something that is not very liked, because like every time a new champion gets released, they kind of like tend to break all the balance and just get it out. However, the the thing about this is like we're gonna have to see like the next things that are coming up. We have a lot of things in season 11 that are really good, like the new items, how they are changing it from becoming like a champion based style, like every champion gets its own item, into a play style based itemization. Now, what this means is like every champion is going to be viable to an extent instead of the selected few. This means that while everything is going to be broken, but it's not to be broken to the extent where it's unplayable, at the same time, not a lot of the things are going to feel weak. So from there, we can deduce the fact that season 11 is not going to be that bad of a season. Maybe it's going to be actually one of the best seasons League of Legends has ever had. So this goes into a lot of pros and a lot of cons. For example, let's just start with the cons. Let's get the negative out of here at the beginning. First of all, the learning curve. This is a good thing. This is a bad thing, because like after playing the game for so long, you're going to have to relearn a lot of the itemization, a lot of the things. Meanwhile, it's like when in every season, like just a couple of items change, like every other 3 patches, they introduce a new item to the game, like maybe they buff an item, therefore you have to get used to it. Now you have to understand like everything has changed. Archangel and Seraphs is not as good as it was, and you understand like, for example, like, understand like how to say, for example, Rod of Ages has changed, no longer stacks, no longer scales into the game. Luden's Echo is now called Luden's Tempest, and this is like something they tried to do when they made Luden's Echo back in 120 AP. Now it's just no longer about the AP. A lot of champions do not get as much as they used to, but they get compensated in some other ways. And you have to understand like when the items change, also power spikes are going to change. So that's number two. Power spikes. You're no longer going to get the same power spikes that you used to get with the old champions. Now you have to understand like there are new power spikes. And, like, they're not that new. It's not like a foreign concept or like a new, completely entire new game. It's just a way that tells you how the new power spikes are not going to be as telegraphed as they would have been before, because they are just simply new, and all the itemizations are simply not there. Right. Number three, the stagnation in champions. All the champions have stagnated for a long time, and like the last season, we didn't see any major nerfs, any major buffs to a lot of the champions, and we've been playing with like the same meta of Ashe, Senna, Jhin, and like Caitlyn, or the selected few, for a really long time, and we didn't see that much of a huge shift in a playstyle from the summer split to from the spring split to the summer split. It's literally nothing changed, and we've seen like a lot of the meta just simply shift out. We just like shifted out from the double herald meta to, or like the single herald meta, to the dragon oriented meta, and this is something that's not that fun to play with or too fun to play against, because when you have a game that has stagnated but like some elements of it have changed, we want to understand like the true impact of the change. We're going to see it, but it would have been a lot better if one thing changed, like everything changes with it. So it's really hard to spot what is the true effect. This is going to be really a lot of work for the balance team, obviously, but at the same time it's going to be a lot of nice things for the player, because like you will no longer have that clear path that you can take. You will be able to experiment as much as you want, and this is like what a lot of league players want to have, including people in challenger, master, or even in the pro scene, which it's really, if you are a pro player, it's really bad for you, because you're gonna have to play the at the almost optimal level right now again while you have these things. The last con, the new champions. Every time a new champion has been released, for example, you can take Samira. This is footage courtesy of Pengu, took it from his stream. I will put the link to his stream on the description below. He is a master tier ADA carry, reached Grandmaster, and I'd like you to go and watch his stream. The last con is the new champions have been so overwhelming. No longer the old champions feel relevant. Samira has the tools to outplay almost every champion in the game because she removes all projectiles for such a long time. She gets to move. She has a moving Katarina ultimate. The only bad thing in her kit is like how slow she gets her ultimate, and it's not like on will, like it's not activate on will or activate on demand. You have to work your way upwards, but then again you do not have any cooldowns on it, so some champions you pay the price for that. I mean, it has the same conditions basically as a Yasuo ultimate, but it's even easier condition to satisfy, right? And we talked about the new champions where they have been released. I remember when Kai'Sa had been released and how strong she was and how she was like a pickle band for the biggest of times, and everyone was like complaining about it. Now Kai'Sa looks very balanced, and it's not because of the nerfs that she has been getting. It's because of all of this excessive because all of this overwhelming new champions that are emerging or had been released. They make her look very balanced right now. Or now Kai'Sa's kit does not look something really crazy. Oh my god, she goes invisible. But now you'll have champions who will, or you have now champions who will, reset their dashes, block all projectiles. They have melee and ranged format. They deal more damage in melee when they are and they have huge ranges when they're in ranged mode. So it's just like a lot of things. They have CC they have complementary CC to the CC that you already have. It's almost insane how well Samira plays with all the other champions and how like she makes every other champion look so outdated because of this. But she's not all that great because champions like Udyr, they can really outplay Samira. Like somehow, you can't, she still can't escape an Udyr, and this shows this talks about the new paradigm. Let's talk about the pros right now. So for the first pro, I'd say now every champion has new tools. For example, the new Duskblade, after you get a kill, it resets the passive of the Duskblade and lets you become invisible for 1.5 seconds. And you have the Collector, it's an item that gives you an execute. And then there are champions who didn't have that. Now they have that. Now every champion can itemize the way that they want. You can go for anti-tank on LeBlanc, you can go for burst on LeBlanc, you can go for burst on Katarina, anti-tank on Katarina. You're no longer bound by the selected few items, and this will let you play a lot more champions because with the correct itemization that will be very available for your champion, you'll be able to mitigate some of the flaws that it had, right? Now, does this mean, and it doesn't scale in a way that makes strong champions become only stronger, like every champion just builds the same thing. It scales in a different way. Well, it's the playstyle that matters. Like, hey, do you have a really strong anti-tank champion? Yeah, you have a Vayne on your team. Well, your Vayne just got stronger. But hey, if you do not have a Vayne, it's okay. You're gonna have a Vayne if the AD carry buys Kraken Slayer. The second thing is that these new itemizations solve a lot of the issues of the things that were not solved before. What I mean is, it's like when you take a champion like, let's say, Azir. And Azir used to have problems with mana and he has to itemize for Nash's Tooth first. And if he doesn't itemize Nash's Tooth first, he doesn't deal damage, but he goes Luden's Echo, then he doesn't have enough damage to do that. Well, now with the new Leander's Torment, you can actually fix that because the Leander's Torment builds from a Lost Chapter, if I'm not mistaken. So you build that. Now this is like just one of the examples. You go for Lost Chapter, then you have this item that gives you attack speed and HP and some damage, ability power damage, and you have like a lot of items that gives you the same stats but in varying degrees, and these are legendary items. That means that you get to pick the passive of the mythic item that you want accordingly. This will give you a champion and all the other champions more tools to play in a very equal manner because it's giving the champions the same things, and you have multiple options which are slightly different. And obviously there's a lot of tuning needs to be introduced, but like this is the biggest change that ever happened since a long time. This is like season 9, nothing happened. Season 8, well, yeah, they changed the runes, but they did not change, like the gameplay was the same, the items were very limited, but had they just stack them together, you realize that you started to play a different League of Legends. So take the changes from Season 8 and Season 9, and when you add Season 10 and 11 changes all together, now you have League of Legends 2. Now you have a different game. While we got to practice how it was going to play all this time, it's really, really different from Season 5 now. This is one of the best iterations of League of Legends so far. Even I am on board with this change, and I'm very anti-change. And the reason is because this change hasn't been done for one specific reason. This was an overhaul, and I really like overhauls because they change the way that the game is supposed to be played, and they will really limit it. The third pro that I have is that ability haste, or like the new CDR, scales with the game. So you no longer have no cooldown Echo Ultimate, right? Or like a no cooldown abilities, because right now all champions literally have 0 to nothing cooldowns, and it's really hard to play Echo. So basically, whenever your champion had really low abilities, low cooldown abilities, now you can answer. Now no longer you have to deal with spam. Yeah, sure, they will get to a spam state at some point, but no longer that will be the case at a very early level. So it means that snowballing will take more skill. Now no longer you will be able to spam a lot of your health. I hope they removed corrupting potion and some other abilities, because if they did that, that's going to be very, very great for the whole state of the game. Obviously, when you remove these items, you're just really asking for your game to be that great. And it's really good that we have a wow. That was really nice play by Jax, by the way. Now it's really, really something that the game needed so badly, right? And so, tell me, what do you think about Season 11? Tell me whether you like the changes, whether you do not like the changes. How do you feel about them? What do you want them to change in League of Legends? If you could voice them over, write them in the comments below. And once again, thank you for watching this video, and I shall see you shortly.